everybody. What's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm your girl, Shayla, also known as Shay Dawson.
I am Tania Rivers, aka T, aka Green Tea, aka Eagles Tea,
Hey, congrats.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Swing them low, swing them high. And watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. Eagles! Here we come to the Super Bowl.
I'm so hyped for all my Philly natives. I'm hyped. So excited.
I sip my water after that. I sip my tea.
Speaking of Super Bowl, I remember the last time the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. It was an amazing time. I was at Rob Covington's house for a nice little team meal.
What's up, Rob?
Yeah, and me, Markel, and Nafis, we all went down to the streets to watch the streets get torn up. And we got stuck inside
of greasing the greasing.
I know. We got stuck inside of Joel Embiid's apartment building, like at the bottom.
Oh.
And then they were like swinging on lifts and Ubers. Like, it was crazy. But
it's crazy.
I know Philly's about to be turned up right now. I kind of wish I was there, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a Philadelphian right now. I'm pumped.
How you feel? How does it feel?
Well, I'm getting a little hoarse because I keep screaming, just random screams. I woke up pumped and I was like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. And everybody like 49ers fan. And Mikkel's dad, Jack, he's a 49ers fan. So you're a clown, Jack, you're a loser. And so is your team. Loser. I hope somebody passed that on to you. If you're not an avid listener. And listen, if you're not listening to Tipping the Scales, please make sure you follow and listen to Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. Got to get the good stuff from us.
Because we have. I mean, we have. We're scaling so fast right now. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. Speaking of crazy, what's crazy in your world? What's going on with the Shay Dawson experience?
Man, the Shay Dawson experience is getting her act together, getting the website done, curating what the Shay Dawson experience actually is.
Yeah.
So, we can start helping people, servicing some people. It's consulting, coaching.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff. So, it's really good. I'm excited.
I'm very excited. Fun time. Listen, when you think about just that journey that we've been on so far, and it's just exciting to see it all kind of come together. I think what's even more exciting is to see where it's going, you sit back and you look at him like, okay, I see this is happening right now.
Even with us, I just can't wait to get to the point where we start selling merch, start having more live episodes where we invite people and stuff like that. So it's just an all-time exciting time right now. And everything we said we're going to do in 2023, I feel like we're on track. So
crazy. And speaking of live episodes, you guys have to come check us out. We are going to be doing our first live episode next week on February 8th.
Yeah.
In ATL in the house. That's so exciting. I'm pumped about it.
Pumped.
So, shout out to Title League because they're helping us just with everything, of course. And just as they go, as we're texting back and forth about it, I don't know. I first started off super hype, and now I'm like nervous.
Me too. Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
I'm like
extremely nervous.
Scared. Yeah.
And shout out to my future husband. Oh yeah. Oh, look at us.
Oh my God, I said at the same time. Shout out to Nafis. Hey brother, what's up, Feast? He's just been doing a lot behind the scenes in terms of helping us with the invitation, sell tickets, helping us with the venue. He is not only is he a tipper, our #1 fan. He's just he's like the intern extraordinaire, who does everything.
He's so giddy about it too. He's just like,
I know
it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great. And I'm like, really? Because I'm so nervous.
He's like a true partner that
he is.
We just inherited through you. So shout out to you, Shay. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have ever met Feast. But he's just an amazing human being, and he helps us so much. So we appreciate you, brother.
Surrounded by Philadelphians. I can't get away from y'all. So
I know. We just every time you keep leaving, we just pull you back in.
Exactly.
So what I'm feeling right now, just in my spirit, is the lack of respect that I'm not seeing across the board. I see it
Mm,
happening in, you know, for every facet of my life, whether it be professional, whether it be personal, whether it be like in society.
mm,
Um, I'm just sick of it. Like, what has happened just for the lack, just in terms of just overall respect that one should give to one another? I'm just not seeing it happen. And it's starting to really just bother me a lot,
mhm,
actually. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you elaborate? Like, where like, I don't know, do you have any examples of
Well, I
the
was
respect you're not seeing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's the respect for human life. So the lack thereof for human
Lack
life.
thereof.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I was watching the video for the first time because I wouldn't watch it because I'm a parent and I have a
The
son.
Tyre Nichols video?
Mhm.
Oh,
In Memphis,
yeah.
the situation that happened.
Yeah,
And I didn't
crazy.
watch it for a long time. And then today, my girlfriend was over and I decided to watch it. And it was, wow, it was extremely difficult. And I you know, tears came to my eye and I just felt I felt nauseous and sick after watching it. Just seeing what happened to him. And 3 days later after that, he died. And he was screaming for his mom.
Mm,
And I just put myself in his mother's shoes and just thought about that is just I can't even fathom, you know what I mean? Just
inhumane.
to to think about something like that happening to um, being a mother and to have to experience that. How can you ever get prepared for something like that? And
Mhm.
I think what's really disturbing is no one, there was 5 police officers and no one said, hey, that's not okay. That made me think about like, why do we not respect one another to the fact where we're willing to snatch someone out the car, speedily, uh, uh, brutally beat someone to the point that they die 3 days later? Like, how did we get
Yeah.
there? And
There's
why is this
actually 6
happening?
officers
6 officers.
because the
Wow.
officer's body cam who you actually watch the footage go down,
Hmm.
you can see his hand. He's the one who, tased the guy.
Oh,
No one talks about that guy. I'm like,
that's the
why do we
sixth
not
guy
talk about the dude who tased and maced Tyree? Like, what happened to
on
that
the
guy? But
ground. He was
right.
beat with his
But
hands
I
restrained.
also feel like, to your point, the lack of respect and the lack of human life comes from a place of privilege.
Mm.
Like, when you have these certain titles like police or a certain class, race class, like being white, um, it comes with privilege. You don't have to have respect for the rules because you feel like you're exempt. When you're a police officer or a race that is seen as the standard, and
Mhm.
even when it comes to, I can even relate it back to the sports world. Even some athletes that I work with lack respect for adults, lack respect for authority
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they're making money at a young
Yeah.
age, and it
Yeah.
kind of shifts the authority um, spectrum. And I don't know how to fix it. I'm not really sure, but I can say that most athletes that I interact with are respectful to me.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's attributed to how I respect myself,
Yes.
how I treat them with
Mhm.
respect, giving love.
Yeah.
So maybe that is a solution. I'm not sure, but I just can when I see it happening, and I'm oftentimes on the side of trying to correct and help and trying to figure out why this person is not giving respect to that person. But I often find disrespect towards me when I'm threatening someone in a way that maybe I'm in their way. Maybe there's some title or some monetary value that they're trying to get through, but let's say I'm in the way or some kind of gatekeeper. That's when I see disrespect, or even just like sex, you know, men working in industry versus women. Women, it's automatically known that we know less about sports or the path. to become a pro or whatever,
There's
and some
inequality
man
with
does,
women,
right?
period.
So I
Yeah.
think it comes down to those kind of dynamics, right? Of like
So many
privilege,
layers.
sex, class,
Yeah.
like all of that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
that's what I'm
So many
saying.
layers. Yeah. You're spot on. There's just so many layers to it. And I think what saddened me the most is that we keep losing young African American Black men
Mhm.
because of police brutality. And I don't
Mhm.
understand that. And
Mm.
why do we have to take a life? Like what is happening? Like, what are you thinking? And why do we want to brutally beat someone? Like, I can't even conceptualize a rationale to why this is happening.
Mhm.
And it just hurts me. It hurts me
It
because I
it hurts
keep
me too.
seeing it over and over again. And I keep saying, when is this going to stop? At what point do we say that enough is enough? And what can we do?
Mhm.
Because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. So,
Mhm.
what is something that we can collectively do as a people to stop this? And what can we do just as human beings on this earth to value life better than what we are doing today?
I wish I had the answer to that. I don't have the answer to it.
I
It
know I'm
makes
not
me
looking for
sad
the answer. I'm
too.
just kind of like saying it out loud.
Yeah, yeah,
What's
and
in
I
my
just
head?
exactly, and I don't really know either. T. I, what I can say is that everybody has a responsibility to somebody. So
Yeah.
those that are in your life, try to model, proper behavior. Try to call things out when you see it, when you see disrespect. Uh, Try to reward, and give affirmation, words of positive affirmation when you do see respectful nature, when you do see
Mm.
kindness, when you do see love.
Yeah.
Um, Try and promote that, what you're doing in your position of power at work. I can do the
Yeah.
same. You know, um,
Yes.
I guess we just all have to try and figure out how we can focus on what we can touch immediately, and
Yes.
hopefully that permeates, and other people catch on, and it's contagious.
Yeah. And I'm just hoping too that we're not afraid to call out when we see something that's not right. I think sometimes things is fair. Like I know too that, I don't know the minds of what people are thinking, but I know sometimes you have to be brave to call
Hmm.
out when you got to go against the grain, right? When you go against something that's like the norm and you want to be that person to say, like, no bueno, like that's not okay. Sorry, these headphones are like sliding because my hair is,
Yeah,
they're like
it's all
sliding all
good.
over the place. But
You gotta
you
put it like
have
at
to,
the crown of your head.
yes, yeah. Hold on for 1 second.
Yep. I actually can just fill in a little spot there too. It's like you have to be willing to be the sacrificial lamb to call out first. You have to know that that's your purpose. That you're one of those people that, you know what, I know that I'm going to get the consequence for speaking up or saying something, but I'm cool with that.
And be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. It's or else are you willing to say that are you willing to turn a blind eye when you know you could have even saved someone's life or you could not even to or you could have made a difference in someone's life
Right.
for the better. And I think that's what we have to do as well. We have to be willing to step out and call something out. Like we all see it,
Hmm.
right? And I think and I'm guilty of it too. I remember I was walking down the street and I try not to get involved with domestic situations because those are always could be messy. And a guy was just talking to his woman so foul. Like the things he was saying to her was like, wow. It was just
Disrespectful. Yeah.
way over the
Right.
top disrespectful.
Right.
The names he was calling her when he was saying, and it was on the tip of my tongue to say something. And I didn't want to get involved. I said, you know what? I need to mind my business. And I walked away. But I periodically think about her and wonder, like, was she okay that night?
Damn.
Like I thought about what happened. Like if he's willing to be so raunchy out
Yeah.
in the streets, what was going to happen to her when she got home behind closed doors? So I think about her all the time from time to time because I was afraid. Early on in my career, This was a long time ago, back in Philadelphia when it was a such. For those of you Philadelphians, you'll find it's very funny. Like there was a thing called Wade Cable before there was like this whole Comcast or any of that. It was called Wade Cable. And I was one of my first jobs, and I was working for Wade Cable. Um, and there was a young woman there, and she was like in management, beautiful woman. I thought she was just stunning. And she was in a very abusive, I probably was like 20, 20, and she was in an abusive relationship with her husband, and she was very fair, like very light skinned, so she would come to work with makeup trying to hide the bruises, but you
Ooh,
could see it right through the
yeah.
makeup. You can't really hide it, especially because she was so light. And she constantly just kept coming to work with bruises. Do you
Mm.
know one time she never made it back to work? She was in a bathroom in her she was in her bathroom, and her husband hit her. But this time he hit her hard, and she fell, and she hit her head on the marble, and it cracked, and she died
Mm,
right there in front of her kids. And I never saw her again.
mm.
So
What in the
I
world?
can never stop thinking about that story ever. And that worries me too. Like, we remember you had sent me something through Twitter where there was a man who killed his wife, and I think it was his girlfriend, but she left alone like about six girls or something like
Yeah,
that.
he stabbed her in the vehicle in a van in Philly.
Mhm. Yeah,
And left six girls
six
behind.
girls behind. So now his life's over, right? Naturally.
Mhm.
He killed this woman, and I don't know what happened, but there's never excuse for that, for violence, period, right? But he killed her. And that just goes back to what I'm saying and what I'm feeling and why I feel, I'm so excited about the Eagles, but my heart is so heavy because of
Right.
all the things that just keep happening in front of our eyes. So for me, I guess again, Shay, it's just my head is spinning. I'm at a loss for words. I don't really know how to articulate my emotions besides that I feel heavy. And I also feel like we have to do something about respecting each other way far more than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, you're right. I think we need to see it modeled as well more. More media outlets, more TV, where we consume our identities, or sorry, where we see our identities, where we start to form and ideate who we are and who we want to be and who we want to be associated with. We get
sure.
it from TV, we get it from social media, we get it from that. So like we have to start promoting good stuff more. Like the bad stuff just always, encapsulates the audience even way more. And so I think
Yeah.
that's the part. Is like we're living in a reality versus like fantasy reality versus Instagram world.
Yeah. I like how you said model the behavior because I think we can start, all of us, right? Like
Yeah.
be the change that we want to see. We've all seen that all the time. And I think we have to live by that. It sounds cliche and maybe corny, but we have to be the change that we want to see. I think that's how we treat each other, how much respect we're given to one another. And, no matter who the person is, I think we have to do a better job because I think there's room for improvement out of each and every one of us. So let's
Mhm.
start there, tippers. Let us plan this week on how we're going to show up differently and how we treat people. I think let's just make that, for me, I'm always very goal oriented. And I believe if you write it down, if you manifest it, then it'll happen. So let's really be intentional about respecting each other. You think
Yeah.
about what you did last week, show up differently this week for sure.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Show up differently.
Yeah.
I think
Speaking of
that's
showing
smart.
up differently, look at you. You got the clear pair of
Oh,
shades on today. I'm loving it.
yes, a rare sighting of my clear pair I wear. Usually I'm a topper girl because I like to coordinate all my outfits. But yeah,
Yes.
today I just thought clear was classic, a little Sunday vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And as you change your hairstyle, you got your hair pulled back, you got your cap on. So I feel like you're just, as you change your hairstyles and your new looks, you just got a nice pair of outwear, with those toppers, changing them as well from all the different variety of options that they offer. So super
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah.
everyone watching on YouTube, if you want you a pair of affordable frames, these are $60. Toppers are $20 to $25. and you can change them up, and I like them because they're so affordable. And I usually have like 8 pairs that I carry with me, and now with Pair Eyewear, I can literally have one case that carries my base frame lenses and then all my toppers. So that's what I love
So,
about it.
so cool. And what's your favorite? Like, what are, mine is, of course, the Phoenix Suns toppers. I love them.
I got
When
one
I'm
too
going
for
out for
you.
the games, I'm wearing them. Like, those are my absolute favorites. But what's some of your other favorites that you rock with your collection?
I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so my Gryffindor toppers are
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
I also have 2 sparkles. I have clear sparkles and I have yellow sparkles, and I put those on top of solid colors. So I have like white, green, black, and then I add like a layer if I want to add like texture to my look.
Yeah.
So that's like my favorite. But Gryffindor, my
Yeah.
Harry Potter is my favorite, and then my sons
Do
because
you have
as
the
you can
maroon
tell,
toppers? I love, like, it's like a burgundy, like, maroon toppers. They're my
I didn't
favorite.
get a maroon.
Oh, I got them. And I'm
You
not really
did?
like a big, me, I'm like very plain with my colors, but I just wanted to do something fun and I love them. I've been getting so many compliments every time I wear them. Every
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I love that. And what's the
So
best
cute.
part? Tell if they're not tippers, most tippers know, but if they're not
Yeah.
tippers, tell them like what's the best part of why we like our partnership with Pair Eyewear.
Well, I'll tell you this, just a fact that I don't know if everyone knows because this was new to me is
Mhm.
that there are over 200 million children who need eyeglasses and they just can't get them. And I think that's an astounding number. And as Shay mentioned, I mean, the part that Shay and I are excited about the most with Pair Eyewear, and it makes us want to buy everything we see when we go to paireyewear.com, is the fact that they're helping a child, right? So it goes beyond just kind of like your style and what you do. It's really about making a difference. So
Mhm.
every pair you buy, they're helping out a children in need. It provides glasses to a child in need, and that's huge.
That's the
And
best
I
part.
think for so by far. So yes, it's cool. Yes, it's affordable. Yes, it's stylish as hell. You can find any look you want and look your best. But more importantly, you're making a difference in children's lives. And that's to me, that's the ultimate. That's like the little cherry on top,
Yep.
right?
And they have something for every person, every human. And I think that's not easy to find when you're, partnering with someone. So
Yes.
it's dope.
So listen, tippers, go and get your glasses. Get glasses to stay as fresh as your unique style with Pair. So go to paireyewear.com/tipping. Remember, you get 15% off your first purchase. So that's Pair, PAIR, eyewear.com/tipping. Go get them, guys.
Love
All
it.
right. All right. So we talked about respect on that human level in terms of, just the lives that we've seen lost far too soon.
Right.
I think another thing too is that we don't give a shit enough about people, right? Like
Yeah.
we know we hurt people's feelings. We know it's like, oh, we're like in this zone of it's all about me.
Yeah.
And it's okay to put, Shay and I look, and if you haven't, I say this all the time. If you haven't checked out our episodes in our library, you have to go check them out. We have some awesome content out there. But we talk about all the time that yes, it's okay to prioritize yourself. And, so many times we put ourselves on the back burner and we're doing things for other people that may not benefit ourselves. So we still believe that, yes, you can prioritize yourself, but we still believe in giving and helping other people. But more importantly, that we believe in not just respecting people, but just having because I think respect is part of it. But if you have a genuine care about people, you're
You'll
going to be
automatically.
naturally inclined to respect them because you care. But
Yeah.
we have to, like, whatever is hardened in us, we got to soften up a bit so that we care about people. And sometimes that's challenging because, there are times when people push me to a point where it's not good
Yeah.
because I get so pissed. But we got to rise above, seriously, because there are going to be so many people that take us there. But we at some point we gotta be the bigger person.
I agree.
We can't let people get us to the point where we're just stuck in that place where we just don't care about others. We just have no genuine care about people. And
Yeah.
I think that's a real issue.
Hmm. And
And
so
yeah.
again, it starts with self. So
Mhm.
respect in the world has to start within, right? Those who have respect for themselves would never disrespect other people. So happy people ain't hating, and hating people ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Wait, can you say that again?
happy people ain't hating, and and hating people ain't happy. So if
That
you
part.
hating, then you gotta look inside. And if you
Okay.
happy, then you probably don't have to worry about those people because they're gonna try and exude what that is and try to give it to other people.
They want that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And they want everybody else to have it too so that they can bask in that good energy and those high vibrations. So it's like if
Mm. Mhm.
you find yourself in a situation where you're just always angry, where you're always just like so quick, it's like take a minute. Maybe you still need some healing. Maybe you still need some work that you got to do. Maybe you need to take
For
some
sure.
time. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like reflect
Yes.
within. So it's just more of like, how are you a reflection of how you're treating people is how you feel about yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
happy
Figure
with
it out.
yourself if you're doing shit like that.
Yeah. Figure out what's making you unhappy. Like that's what
Mhm.
Shay was just talking about in terms of that deep inner work that you have to do. Like we all have to do that inner work. And why not do it now? It's the beginning of a year. Like, do that deep work to see where the disconnection is with self. It could be a lot of things. Like, there are so many things that happen in our lives that, I causes us to harden a little bit and causes us to be in a space where of discontent. And when you're in a space of discontent, it's kind of like that old saying, kind of you looking at the glass, half empty opposed to
Mhm.
half full. You're just angry. And you ever see someone you say they're angry for no reason? They just come first thing in the morning, just angry as hell.
Yeah, I
And
used to work for someone like that. Mhm.
yeah, and it's taxing.
Oh
Like you
yeah.
don't understand the impact that you have on other people when think about that. Like you come to work or you go wherever you are in that funk and it's nasty and it's and it makes people feel so uncomfortable to be
Mhm.
around you. Think about that impact that you're having on others where think about what you're doing to yourself. Think about how because you're so I'll even use the word miserable, that every single person around you, it's like almost like an air.
Soul sucking.
Yes. Soul sucking. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, you're walking around sucking souls. Like literally like get over here. You know what I mean? Like it's just more like
And that
it's
voice,
like
deep voice, get over here.
get over here. I forget what video game that is. I think it's Street Fighter, but yeah, like I just think that and I know so many people like that, but when
Sad.
it is sad. But
Uh-huh.
the crazy thing is, I don't get that energy from people. Like I
Mm.
see people sucking souls over there, but when it comes to me, you ain't sucking nothing over here.
Yeah.
Pause.
You got a bulletproof vest. You can't get this soul. Sorry, not sorry, but it's not happening.
Yeah, and offer you for dirty minds. No, I'm not talking about that. But like just no, literally. And one, because I'm the type of person that if you trying to yell, I'm gonna hug you in the middle of your yelling and you're gonna be all confused. It's like, I'm not gonna give you that energy. So you can't bring that over here. And so I don't know if everybody's capable of giving
That's
grace
hard.
in the moment. It is
That's
very
hard
hard. It's
because
very
people
hard
have
to
a
do.
because sometimes people can get that fish hook, toss it out, and try to reel you back in with them. But I mean, that's a
Or
level of maturity.
they know your triggers. They know they could say like,
Those
well, you ain't this,
triggers.
you ain't that, right?
Yes.
Like you ever watch those movies when you see two people fighting or whatever, and one person be like, "Man, I'm gonna leave you alone." They start walking away, and then that one person says that one thing. They're so close to walking away. They say that one thing. They turn around, and next thing you know, it's over, and then that person either in jail. So like it just a ripple effect. So it's like you can't let those soul sucking people get to you. Like, you
Mm-mm.
have to let it roll off. Like, you have to just give that person grace, say a prayer, separate yourself, and if it's too toxic, leave that job, leave that environment, leave that relationship
They're out.
because they're always gonna be able to do that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Understand
you know
what
what I'm
your
saying?
triggers are too.
Yeah.
Like when Shay talks about triggers, like know your own triggers because we all have them. There's
Mhm.
certain things that will take us there. For me, like a trigger is my son. You come from my kid. Yeah. I told you guys about that time where that I won't say what team, but if you go back and listen, you probably I think I mentioned it before, but
It was like in the very beginning. In the
and
very, very
someone did
beginning.
something to my kid, and I was about to run my behind on that court. I don't know what I thought I was going to do, but I was going to hurt someone. Okay, we
Mhm.
don't mess with my kid, but that is a trigger for me. But know your trigger so you can know when they start to show up how you can figure out ways to deal with it so that you don't get people to change the authenticity of who you are. Like people should not be able to do that because then I figure it almost feels like they own you. When someone can
Yeah.
get into your head, get into your space and cause you to be different than who you are, that's like they own you.
Yeah.
And don't let someone have jurisdiction over your life. Like that's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Be able to know when it happens and say, okay, yep, that's a trigger. I'm gonna shut it down. Or sometimes I call it out. Like you may not get a hug from me. Shay's the nicer one out of the two of us. So you start coming from me, you ain't getting no damn hug. But what you'll what you'll probably get is like, hey, don't do that. Like you're barking up the wrong tree. And my advice to you is let's stop here. Like let's not go there. Like I don't want to go down a slippery slope with you. And you're making me upset, or you're saying something that's really going to take me to a place that you don't want to see. So let's stop here. Let's kind of change the direction of this conversation. So I try to stop it in its tracks when I see it because I want to be a better person. I want to be a good person. I want to be the person that you see that you see my light shine. I want that. And I don't want to
You
have
take
all
it to
that
that level.
negativity. Yeah. And I don't want to just walk. You ever see, you can almost stinks of negativity when you see people who are just like, you talked about that former boss. I know exactly that boss you're talking about.
Mhm.
That person looked negative as hell, just unhappy, face tight and scrunched up. Like just like life is not good for you.
Yeah.
Like just
But you
got
know what
that
I
look.
learned? You
What
know
did
what
you
I
learn?
learned? I never treated that person. I never disrespected that person. Never. I had to like soul search and say like I wanted to
Mm,
chase the why. Why is this person so unhappy? Because
yeah.
I've never done anything to that person. So it's like, and I realized I just started praying. I just said,
Mm,
please heal that person. Just please,
yes.
God, like I want my life to be better and I want that
Yes.
person's life to be better. And eventually we got to a good place and I'm thankful for that. But I felt like if I had been petty and I didn't have respect,
I fell to that
it
level
could have been
and
easily
never
that,
got to where it
you know
was
what I'm saying?
today. Yeah.
And most of
Yeah.
the time when people do disrespect you, it's not about you. It's
Yeah.
about them. And that's
Yep.
what I was just saying about that was my other point. It's like most of the time it's never about the person that is receiving the disrespect,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So listen, tippers, a lot of content today about respect, but let's make a promise from this day out that we're going to show up better than we were yesterday. Let's commit to showing each other with more respect, having genuine care for each other, and just trying to show up differently. That's all we can do, one day at a time, right? Like life is too short. We lose people far too early in our lives, and we're only here for a short period of time on this journey called life. So let's show up differently. Let's be better. And don't forget to go to pureeyewear.com, check out some new frames, check out some of the wonderful collections that Shay mentioned. So that's pureeyewear.com. Don't forget to add the /tipping for your 15% off your first purchase. Deal?
and a child gets a pair when you purchase one. So that's what we
Hey,
love.
that's what we love. So thanks, tippers. As always, we appreciate you. Please continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you much. Bye.
Bye.